A very good day to all of you. Today we will read the poem Let Me Not to the Marriage of True Minds, written by William Shakespeare. So, William Shakespeare, as we have already read one of the poem, a sonnet by Shakespeare. So, he was let me tell you about Shakespeare in brief. So, he was an English playwright, poet, and actor, and he was widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language, and he was world's greatest dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and bard of Avon. He has written 39 plays. Some of them are tragedies and some of them are comedies. He has written historical plays also. So he is generally, dominantly, he is considered as the greatest playwright. But he had also written sonnets, and the number of the sonnets 154 sonnets, and two long narrative poems. So we have already talked about the types of sonnets. I am going again in brief that there are two types of sonnets: Petrarchan sonnet and Shakespearean sonnet. Petrarchan sonnet is developed by Milton, and it's having structure octave and sestet. Octave consists of 8 lines and sestet consists of 6 lines. And if we talk about the sonnet written by Shakespeare, so it's named as Shakespearean sonnet, Elizabethan sonnet. So it consists of 3 quatrains and one concluding couplet. So here in this poem, this is a Shakespearean sonnet, and if we see the structure of the poem, you will find that the poem consists of 3 quatrains and one concluding couplet. So quatrain means stanza of 4 lines, and couplet is the last concluding line, or we can say couplet is 2 lines. So this is poem, it's a sonnet, and it is, as I've told you, that Shakespeare has written 154 sonnets. So it was 116 number of sonnet among his 154, out of his 154 sonnets. We will start reading the poem. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it's an ever fixed mark that looks on tempest and is never shaken. It's the star to every wandering bark, whose words unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never read, nor no man ever loved. So, it's a beautiful sonnet having 3 quatrains followed by a final rhyming couplet. So, this is a love poem, and the poet begins by stating that he should not stand in the way of the marriage of true minds. Marriage of true minds here means the two persons who love each other. So that love cannot be true if it's, and he says that he is giving the definition of true love. He says that love cannot be true if it changes for any reason. True love should be constant. It should be fixed through any difficulties. The poet makes a reference alluding to love being much like the North Star. As North Star is to sailors, love also should not fade with, means love is a kind of guiding light to sailors. So love should not fade with time. Instead, true love, as is the polar star, ever fixed and last forever. So Shakespeare uses a metaphor and he compares marriage to the love of true mind people to emphasize that there should be no reason to admit impediments. Impediments means obstacles. That why people who truly love each other should not be together. We should not become impediments, obstacles. We should not create obstacles in their meeting. So Shakespeare is also making reference to the marriage ceremony found that can be found in church. So the celebrant addresses the couple who are getting married and says, so the poet, he establishes the superiority of love. So he says that one should not create any kind of obstacle in the marriage of true lovers. And then he gives the definition of true love. He says that love is not true love which changes when it finds its alteration. So alteration is the problems and the difficulties. So true love lasts forever. So here he says that love is not true love which changes when it faces any kind of difficulties, which bends when someone removes it. And then the poet compares it with an ever fixed mark. So he says that true love lasts forever and never changes. And if love changes, it is not true love. And nothing that anyone does to try to destroy or remove true love will change it. So, in the first quatrain of the sonnet, Shakespeare establishes the essential, unchanging nature of true love. And in the second quatrain, he expands on his theme. Shakespeare says that true love is constant and does not move from its fixed mark in the hearts and the minds of the people. And there is no manner of upheaval, contention, and tempest that can be weathered, and true love can never be shaken and certainly can't be defeated or destroyed. So now the poet compares true love with an ever fixed mark that looks on tempest and is never shaken. So Shakespeare uses a metaphor of North Star. He says that it's a star to every wandering bark. Though he is using a metaphor, and he says, what is bark? Bark is a sailing ship. To say that the North Star and love are priceless and their worth is unknown. So the worth of that polar star is unknown, in the same manner the worth of love is also unknown. The love is considered here as the guiding light which guides, which gives direction, positive direction. So although the height of that star can be measured, but the worth of that star cannot be known. So love is not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. So Shakespeare reiterates the time that the brief hours and weeks has no effect on true love, which will continue beyond the end of the world, even to the edge of doom. So the last two lines of the sonnet are as emphatic as the first two lines. So it's a concluding couplet, and here the poet gives the solution or the final thought regarding this poem. He says that if uh, if this be error and upon me proved, I shall never write, nor no man ever loved. So Shakespeare feels so strongly about what he has written about true love that he issues a challenge to prove him wrong. If what he writes about love is not true, then true love does not exist. So here he gives a challenge that if what he has written is not true, then he claims that he will not write anymore. So the speaker says that he does not want to acknowledge any impediment that might prevent two people in love from being together. So we cannot call a feeling love if that feeling changes when we change or go away. Real love is constant, like something that is fixed and immovable and which cannot be altered. It's like a star that guides ships at sea. And love is not subject to time, and it does not diminish when the object of one's love grows old or loses their beauty or innocence. Love does not change over the course of our short lives, but it endures and goes on and on until the end of the time. Finally, the speaker says that if he is wrong about any of these ideas about love, then he will never write, and he has never written, and no one has ever truly loved. So, this poem talks about the steadfastness and eternal nature of true love. It says that love is not fickle, it does not change when situations change. Now, I am giving you the brief summary in lines, quick lines. So, love is not fickle and it does not change. Love is fixed. And even in the worst of time, love is always there and it shines in the dark, and it's compared with a star in the darkest night, and it will help you through the worst of your times. So, time has no influence on the strength of love. So, what is more powerful? Love is more powerful than time. It does not ever fade or diminish, even unto death, and true love always survives. So, all these things are immortal truths and facts that will never and can never be denied. So, the basic idea of this sonnet is love is constant and unchanging. Love does not change, whatever the circumstances it. In the second quatrain, the poet describes love as fixed star that can always dependent on by ships to guide them home, and as a mark that cannot be moved even by a storm. The third quatrain talks about how love does not diminish over time. And finally, the couplet says that if his definition of love is wrong, then love has never existed. So, this was all about the poem Let Me Not to the Marriage of True Minds. I hope you all have got the poem. Thank you.